Hello, this is Vulturefire, and I'm doing something a little bit different this time. So I am recording a challenge run. So basically, one of the other people on the Discord, Zabu, had decided to start doing a challenge series, asking for troll decks. And the idea is that the person who submits the deck provides 10 cards in the starting deck and 25 cards in the card pool, and then the person doing the challenge then can choose the other 2 cards in the starting deck and 5 cards in the card pool so that they have some control. And the goal is to win the run with the deck that is submitted. And I decided that seemed like fun, and because we had been talking about poison, and specifically I am not a big fan of poison, I requested that Zabu build a poison deck for me that I would then, using the same rules that for the decks that I submitted for Zabu, and then I would play the deck. So that's what's going to happen today. I'm playing this poison deck that I have not built. I have briefly looked at the outline, but I haven't exhaustively checked over what it's doing. So first off, before I get into the deck, I wanted to make sure that I had got everything for the market, and I am just went ahead and bought everything. I don't normally buy the Phoenix Feather, but this is a deck that I didn't build, so I don't trust myself not to screw up, so Phoenix Feather it is. Other than that, we don't have any trinket. We don't have a starting trinket. We don't have extra max mana. Those are two of the big things that we don't have this time. And obviously I could have, forcibly re-rolled for it, but, figured that I would rather just go with what we have. So I do have some max health. I do get an item / card reroll. I get some extra supplies. This is a Mirley deck, so critical damage and doing a bunch of stuff with hidden. So we're going to import. Oh, I apparently did not copy it properly. Let me try that again. There we go. So the initial deck only has 2 mana cards. It's pretty clear that the 2 cards that were cut from, I don't know if this was a full deck and then cards were removed to submit it to me, or if this is a thing that was built with only the 10/25 as the full deck. But regardless, 2 Shadow Focus seems like the obvious way to finish filling this out, because this is a Mirley deck. So we have hidden, of course. We have, in fact, the maximum amount of hidden that you can get in a starting pool. We have both the pair of preparations and the pair of covert strikes. I don't think I've used my Mirley deck on any of these videos, but I usually only run covert strikes in my. I think I'm at this point on 2 covert strikes and 1 preparations. But the big advantage here is, of course, then you can use bold move fairly safely. Our other cards, we have 1 follow-up strike, which hits up to 4 times, which is going to be relevant because we have virulent strike, which gives us envenom, which when we have envenom, every hit we do to an enemy applies 1 poison. So that's basically sort of like 1.5 extra damage per hit, but the extra 1.5 damage per hit is delayed. Toxic Cloud, which applies weak and poison to all enemies. And this is particularly relevant because we have Infected Focus as our other mana card, and Infected Focus is going to give us a base of 2 mana and then 1 more for each poisoned enemy. And so in our initial deck, Toxic Cloud is our only way to get that above 3 mana. So in our card pool, we are missing 5 cards. So in the discussion, I had sort of alluded to the fact that if Aether Storm wasn't in the initial deck, I was absolutely adding it, and that is indeed the case. It is worth noting, because we only have 3 out of 9 epics, we aren't going to be able to fill in all 9 epic slots. I believe that means that there is going to be, and we're probably not going to spend all 5 of these card slots that we have on epics. I believe if you aren't at the full, the maximum count of epics, if it would roll one of those slots, it instead rolls a random other card in the pool, but I'm not completely certain how that works. The important thing is we want Aether Storm, we want Dispel Magic. I still think Dispel Magic is just incredibly important for managing the later, for managing Area 3 especially. There are a lot of enemies that Dispel Magic is particularly useful against. We do have resourcefulness, which is good because that means we do have an epic mana card, and it does create smoke bombs, which is handy. I think we also want, so right now we have 3 mana cards. Or sorry, yeah, we have 3 mana cards in the pool. For some reason, I don't know how much of this deck was intended to screw with me and how much was meant as a legitimate attempt to build the best possible poison deck. I will confess the decks that I built to submit as challenge decks were all deliberately severely handicapped, to put it mildly. I was trying to build decks that were as difficult as possible to win with. So the decision to include, for example, a Siphon card, a mana card that I think is not usually what I like to see, especially in my card pool outside of a discard deck. I suppose that we do have Pernicious Idol in the pool, so that may be why. But then we also have Shadow Focus, which is pretty okay. It will always be 3 mana, but it has the downside of only being 3 mana. And we have Infected Focus, which will be an amount of mana. So we probably want at least 1 more mana card. I do want Cleansing Shield, though, and I probably still want Blessed Strike. So let's look through some of the rest of the card pool before we choose our other cards. So we've got Poison Dova, which gives 8 poison to all enemies. We have Bide Time, which is a way to draw some cards. We have Deadly Injection, which is going to give 9 poison to 1 enemy. We have Noxious Blend, which will turn smoke bombs into noxious bombs. And I probably need to submit this as a bug that if you... I'm actually going to pause the video real quick to submit this as a bug, because as you can see, it cuts off the side of the card. All right. There was no break for you, but there was a break for me there. Anyway, so that will create smoke bombs, which turn into... it doesn't create smoke bombs. It draws smoke bombs and turns them into noxious bombs. And noxious bombs, let me come over here to look at them because we couldn't see them there, normally a smoke bomb just gives us hidden. This still gives us hidden, but it also gives weak and vulnerable and frail and poison to all enemies. And when it's upgraded, it's 2 ranks of weak, vulnerable, and frail, and 6 ranks of poison. So that is a way to both reduce the amount of damage that we take and increase the amount of damage we're able to output with 1 card. So that's handy. And that is one of the reasons I assumed that we have the 2 preparations in the starting deck, is to make Noxious Blend a feasible pick. We have Vanish. This also creates 2 smoke bombs, and it gives us 6 shield. So that's one of our defensive options. We have Tempest Strike, which will allow us to hit all enemies. We have Hidden Storm, which will also allow us to hit all enemies, and it does extra damage if we are hidden. We have Hubris Strike, which is a decent amount of damage to the first enemy, and it discards cards. So we've got a discard sub-theme, sort of. You'll notice we have a lot of these cards that discard, but our only actual discard payoff, I believe, is Pernicious Idol. Aside from that, we are just throwing away cards from our hand for not a ton of actual benefit. So Mind Probe is a card that I've been meaning to try out that I haven't yet. I think this stands a chance of being good because it's going to deal 8 damage and it changes the enemy's action, and changing what the enemy is doing is potentially quite good. If you know, for example, if an enemy has a pattern where they are going to do... So like Arcane Wisps. So on turn 1, Arcane Wisps set up. They do some Arcane to you, and then they apply Arcane Rune. And then their second attack is just 1x5, but they'll have Arcane Rune, so they'll trigger an Arcane proc, and you will be sad. But if you hit them with a Mind Probe, then you will skip them applying the Arcane Rune to themselves, and they will go straight to attacking for 1x5 damage, which won't do much. It'll only do 5 damage, and of course, being Mirley, we're hoping to dodge that anyway. So that's just an example of where that works. So we also have basically all the cards that do poison. We have Poison Dart, which is not my favorite, but I guess it's here. We have Covert Strike in case we need more hidden. We have Poison Touch. So we have one with Shadows, which is very good now. It got changed in the most recent version. Used to, you just got hidden and didn't lose hidden while attacking, which was pretty bad because... You know, it is already pretty easy to maintain hidden pretty effectively with the options that you have available to you. So if you played this, it was often not noticeably better than like a Preparations Plus at the most. But now it does create 2 temporary backstabs, which means you immediately get to follow it up with a good amount of damage, which is great. We have more preparations, again, if we just need more hidden. We have Void Vision. I suppose this is sort of a discard payoff. We can pick up more bold moves. And then, yeah, we have those 3 mana cards. So I have added 3 cards so far. I've added the Aether Storm, I've added the Dispel Magic, I've added the Cleansing Shield. So we need to add 2 more. And one of the things I think we probably want here is Arcane Strike, because this will give us, we are already hitting a bunch of times, and this is very good with hitting a bunch of times. Oh, we also have Stinging Strike. I think I skipped over that, which is just deal 1 x4 damage, which again, very good with the Arcane Rune. I would love to fit in like a Frost Strike here and a Lightning Blade, but we only have 1 more card slot, so I think that is going to go to Predator's Focus, because we need another mana card here. 4 is still light. I would love to, if I was not on this challenge, I would remove some of these cards. Probably I don't think we need the Covert Strikes in the pool. We probably don't need, I would probably cut the Covert Strikes. I don't think we need more of them in the pool. I don't really like running multiple bold moves. I might cut that. I would probably cut bold move for Power Surge. I think that the fact that you can play bold move multiple times is less important than the fact that Power Surge has much less of a setup cost. And then I probably would cut the Hubris Strike just because I'm not a huge fan of the card. I'd be looking to get as for cards I would put in, and this is assuming that I am still keeping to the poison theme, I would probably add in Blessed Strike. I would probably add in Regrowth is pretty good. It's a utility card, so it's probably lower priority than cards that are actually going to actively modify how the run plays out, but I probably would still take it. Surprise Attack, though, is the big one, because right now, so Mirley can get critical from evading, so it's less important, but the vulnerable still matters, and the ambushed is quite nice. Sorry, the vulnerable still matters, and if we haven't gotten a critical stack from our evade, because every time we evade, because I am level 10 with Mirley, every time that Mirley evades at level 10, you get a stack of one of like 5 random buffs, and so one of those is critical, which means that actually adding critical cards to the Mirley deck is less important once you're level 10, because you can somewhat count on just getting it. Another thing we're completely missing is we do not have any healing in this deck, so that could potentially become an issue. And there aren't that many monster cards that heal, so it's possible that I need to fit Invigorate in here. Or we can just pray. I think we are just praying. So that is where the deck is at. And here we go. I'm not going to bother cutting this into multiple videos. I will probably try and do timestamps. So hello if you use the timestamps to skip straight to the actual run. So for the first item, getting strike plus strike damage immediately is pretty good. We are obviously playing a whole bunch of strikes. So the choice here is between going through the Lightning Elemental and then the Forest Guardian, or if we want to hit the the Piercing Warbot. So the Piercing Warbot, I think the card here is more valuable, but I don't like, I need to go double check what the cards are that this friendo can drop, because those are potentially, I normally avoid them because I'm not on the poison deck, but for once I am on the poison deck, which makes fighting the Vessel of Blight more appealing. So that can get us, 2 cards, Corrupted Strike and Toxin, and Draw Toxin. Draw Toxin is a mana card that gives us Envenom for every poisoned enemy, and Corrupted Strike just is 3 mana, 3x3 damage, and then it applies Vulnerable to things that are frail, and frail to things that are poisoned. It's unlikely we'll be applying any Vulnerable with it. We only have the only ways we can apply frail is with the Noxious Bombs, or if we somehow get another, like a trinket or a market card that lets us apply frail, not market item, a monster card that lets us apply frail, that would let us get there. But Draw Toxin is the more valuable of the two of those. From the Vessel of Knowledge, we'd be looking for the Mana Font, which is another mana card that's just gain 2 mana and draw 1, which is very good. We don't care much about the card from this, so I think we're going to see if we can get any value. I think Draw Toxin is worthwhile enough for us that we are willing to pass up. So we're flipping a coin either way. Although the advantage of doing this way is that Toughen would give us healing, and we've already established that we don't have any way to get healing. I'm going to swing left. And we're starting here so we can hit that elite. So this is kind of an awkward opening hand. This can happen sometimes where the reason this is awkward is like I want to play this bold move, but if I do so, I will have to lose hidden. And I want to have hidden so that I can potentially evade. So I'm just going to play that, and I knew I wasn't going to lose hidden from that because I'm still a level 4+ Mirley. So here's an example of the sort of thing that the deck is supposed to do, where I'm able to get, you know, a decent amount of mana because I poison both enemies. I'm able to apply some poison. Unfortunately, that enemy gained shield, which meant we weren't able to get the kill. We weren't quite able to get the kill, at least. We will here. So we can go Covert Strike into Follow-Up Strike, and now we've got a kill. So not a bad first fight. I'm pausing here. My computer is doing an awkward thing where you can't see it, but on my screen, my bottom bar is my computer's taskbar is taking up the bottom part of the screen and will not go away. So I need to pause and fix that. So, but before I do that, I need to take a card. Siphon card's okay, just because we need more mana. Always. Void Visions is okay. I don't love any of this. I'll take the Siphon card. And yeah, I'm pausing this, and I'll be back with you. Well, for you, it'll just be literally seconds after you hear this. All right, we're back. And away we go. So I would have loved to have evaded that hit, but no such luck. Should have played that first, not that it matters a ton. No point in really adding that Smoke Bomb to our deck. We'll just do that. Have plenty of mana to work with here. Yeah, this is an awkward hand. We can re-up Hidden. Alright, we just evade that, which is nice, and we evaded that, so we're going to get drawn an extra card. We are now critical, so we are going to get guaranteed critical hits, which is pretty sweet. And there's that kill. And now we hope to evade. Oh, we evaded one, we got hit by one, which I mean, 50% chance to evade, that's what you get. Definitely you can see that we really need to pick up some damage sources. Because our main poison... Oh, I accidentally played that, which forced me to discard a card, which I wasn't paying attention. And that's going to extend this out for a turn, but it's not really going to hurt us much. But so, obviously, one of the issues with this deck right now is poison is supposed to be our main... Virulent Strike is supposed to be one of our main ways to apply poison, but we just don't have that many strikes right now. And we don't have any draw, so it's pretty easy for us to just end up not doing much. Hidden Storm is going to be pretty helpful to us here, so we'll take it. I will take... we don't have a way to combat the Arcane Link off of the Weak Horseshoe, but it's not supposed to be called Weak Horseshoe, by the way. It's supposed to be called Cursed Horseshoe. But Cursed used to be called... Sorry, Weak used to be called Cursed, and I'm betting thanks to a find and replace error, that's why this trinket is currently called Weak Horseshoe. It's a Cursed Horseshoe. I'm going to report this one as well. Anyway, we could also just re-roll this. We could also take the Dancing Blade. The Dancing Blade is actually pretty okay for us here. It is a strike. It will potentially apply a bunch of poison for us. Worst case scenario is just another way to deal some damage. I think we do want to be hidden, so we aren't going to play the bold move. And then we are going to hope to evade. Well, that's fine, I guess. Alright, we get to apply weak, which... So, weak and shocked don't work together as well as you would like because of the way the damage multipliers add together. So, shocked is plus 100% damage, weak is minus 30% damage, so we're still taking 170% damage, which, you know, it does hurt. We're going to go ahead and do this because we get preparations afterwards. And that's why we get a bunch of crits out, and this will at least get us the kill. And we got that evade, which is nice. That would have been kind of painful if we hadn't. I'm willing to try a Noxious Blend, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, this is kind of what I was afraid of. So yeah, the big problem with Noxious Blend is if it's in your opening hand, you can end up in situations like this where it just doesn't do anything. And it's kind of the worst of all worlds kind of hand here where we aren't hidden, we're just going to take a bunch of damage. And I mean, that's obviously another reason why this deck has so many hidden cards in the base deck, is to theoretically avoid having this happen. But RNG does what RNG is going to do. So there's only so much you can get away with. I'm sure there's some amount of audio leaking from the other room, and I'm sure that's been going on for the whole video. I apologize. I'm not the only person living in this house. Just a thing that happens sometimes. So this choice, Flash Brawn, is potentially useful to us. It does go very well with things that hit multiple times. The problem is that we don't have any card draw to go with it, and that means that it's going to be difficult for us to line it up with a lot of cards. And if we get these hands where we have Flash Brawn and 2 mana cards and 1 strike, or no hits, which is going to happen some amount of the time because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 of our 15 cards. So we've only got a third of our deck will even work with this, and we just take the Mind Probe and we see if we can get any value out of it. Okay, so this is an interesting question, because if we Mind Probe now, what that will do is force the Vessel of Knowledge to not apply Doom to us, which means that the risk in this fight goes down substantially. Of course, also, I don't know that we care about being doomed. We can also just plan on winning, but I think getting damage in trumps that, so we will go ahead and do that. I don't love that, though. So this is going to block the... Oh, we can start with the Virulent... So the Purity stacks are what I'm trying to reckon with here. So the Virulent Strike will clean off both of the Purity stacks. And then we can use that. And now I'm kind of tempted to use Bold Move, because I think getting a powerful stack is very valuable to us. The downside to doing that is that we would then be getting... we would be guaranteed getting hit. But I think having a powerful stack is worth it. And then if we're going to be... I don't know why I did that one instead of Follow-Up Strike. They were the same amount of damage. I'm not very bright sometimes. So what we're going to do... and that forced a shuffle because there was... because we didn't have whatever in our deck. So we are now Arcane Weak. So we now really, really, really want to dodge any attacks like this that are going to apply status effects to us. So I think we're going to, yeah. So we can attack, but in doing so, we will then hit this Arcane Barrier, which is kind of annoying, but I think it is worth getting damage out. Okay, so the Doom gets reapplied if we didn't take it earlier. I wasn't actually sure if that was a thing that this boss did or not. We will actually add another preparations to our deck and save it for later, so if we draw the Noxious Bomb, we will still be able to use it. All right, well, this is an awkward hand. This deck seems to get a lot of awkward hands, huh? We are getting pretty lucky on these evades in this fight. We've evaded basically all of the hits that we have really wanted to evade, so I cannot complain about that aspect. So here's the plan. We are going to Dancing Blade into Follow-Up Strike into hidden, into mind probe, into hidden. Okay, I was really hoping that we were going to get out of being arcaned. Alright. So, unfortunately. Okay. We were only arcane leaked one. I thought that was actually going to pop. So, God, I really want both of these. I think the Aether Storm is more important to us right now. We will never get another chance to do Mana Font, and this is the whole reason we came this direction. But I think Aether Storm is so powerful that we just need it. And then I think we will take... So this would give us poison applied by spells, but that would only apply to... the Mind Probe and Aether Storm, and I don't think that's enough value. I think this is the one we want. And then we're going to definitely upgrade the Aether Storm. That 4x4 is a huge amount of damage. As for what we're removing, it might be the follow-up strike. It has just been incredibly awkward to get that. But we really can't afford to remove damage. So, it's a tricky choice. I think it's the follow-up strike. We just keep not being able to line it up. And I think we can do better than 2 for... it's 2x2 base. We just have that +1 from that item. I think we cut the follow-up strike. None of these are particularly great for us. That is amazing. Okay, so this item is hugely valuable to us because that plus 25% chance will stack with the plus 50% chance that we get already from being hidden. So now instead of a 1 in 2 chance of getting hit while hidden, we have a 1 in 4 chance of being hit, which means that we are going to take half as many attacks as we were before. And then if we can find any other items that also will further up our evade chance, we will be doing even more craziness. So the question becomes, of course, do we make a bold move? So other notes, this is going to do 12. So this is more damage than that, and that adds bleed though, but I think still would rather do that. And then I think we bold move for the powerful stack. And then we may as well, I guess, play that just to get the extra bleed out. And then, okay. I would have been pretty sad if we hadn't gotten this preparations here, but we did. I should have played this first. I don't plan to play the Mind Probe. Let's actually go ahead and do that to get a little bit of extra value out. All right. So we can play this, which will only get us 5 damage out, but it will get us 5 poison. We're going to create that for our Noxious Bomb, which is our last card in our deck, Noxious Blend. And so now we can Noxious Blend, which means, I mean, that was lethal anyway, I think. I think it was still, no, because the vulnerable would have worn off. Okay, so we're going to reroll here. There's Toughen. All right, so Toughen is the card that I was looking for. It's up against Cleansing Shield, but this is, again, going to be like our only way to get healing, so I will take it. Cryogenic Flask is great for getting us out of rough spots. And, yeah, again, like the Noxious Blend, not doing as much for us here as I would like. The question is, do we hit? Sure. Okay, so now we are going to get hit by, I think, Frail and, yeah, Leech. That's why I see, because you don't want to get poisoned, because the Leech stacks, it doesn't matter how many of them we have, we still only take 3 damage at the end of turn, which is just not a big concern. So this is still more damage. And there we go. Alright, Curse Spores I still think just does nothing for us. Even though we are the poison deck, Curse Spores is very slow to ramp up. 2 poisoned all enemies is functionally nothing. And we don't have any card draw, so like getting through our deck again is going to be tricky. Pernicious Idol I don't love, but I want to try it, so we're going to. And we really, I would love for this to be the Mushroom what is the mushroom called? Demented mushroom. Because what I really want here is I would really love to be able to sorry, my brain shut down temporarily. Please hold rebooting. Okay, we're getting freeze now. Oh, I would love to Brave Designs, the strongest card of the game. Of course, that's the thing I want. I want the strongest card in the game. Why is that so much to ask? We're going to create that to save it for later. So, all right. And saving that for later does indeed mean that we're going to get to do that here. So we are going to start by going... Okay, so sequencing here. Now we get hidden back, and we've applied vulnerable and frail. So now we can virulent strike and get the most value possible. And so now we are bleeding, so we don't want to play too many cards this turn. We do want to play that though. And then I think we are still willing to play the Toxin Cloud and play the mana. And I think that's it for now. Okay, so far Poison's been doing okay. I haven't been wowed by it. Feels like mostly what we're doing here is what Mirley could have done anyway, but you know. If it works, it works. Does this get us to lethal? Gets us close. What if we're doing that? Yeah, okay. So another Aether Storm is very good. It's very hard to pass up just taking another Aether Storm and then upgrading it just immediately. That just seems very good still. This would be more healing. I don't know how often. So this says 10 damage with a card. That's not quite accurate. It is 10 plus damage in one attack or in one hit. So like the Aether Storm is doing 16 damage to all enemies. Aether Storm will not get us this heal. However, a lot of criticals will. So that's worth keeping in mind. All three of these are pretty potentially good. The Aura Protection will help us get shield back. We don't currently have any way to get shield back. This could potentially save us a lot of health. This could get us some extra mana. This could gain us a bunch of... This could provide a lot of healing. I think I'm going to take the Aura of Protection. I think it will end up doing good work for us. We'll upgrade the Aether Storm. I think at this point we don't need the Hidden Storm because we now have 2 Aether Storm pluses. I think that the Hidden Storm is kind of extraneous. Alright, so Elemental Strike is the card that we're going after here. So that was the path through a Poison Gorgon. That fight might be rough, but we really want the reward, so we'll start here. Yeah, the Bold Move still is just this awkward card where, like, I don't want... Let's do that. Let's freeze and Bold Move and discard. All right, we can do this. And then we didn't really need to heal, but I wanted to, so I did. So upgrading the Noxious, I both do and don't want to upgrade the Noxious Bomb. On the one hand, it can be an awkward card, but on the other hand, having a way to having Noxious Bomb upgraded would mean that it would Noxious Blend upgrade would mean that it makes Noxious Bomb pluses, which then generate give 2 stacks of weak and vulnerable, which means that it lasts for 2 turns, which is a pretty big upgrade. All right, so we took a tiny amount of damage there to get that kill on that turn, but I think that was worth it. Poison Nova, in theory, is the card we want here. It is 8 poison all enemies. I don't know that Devouring Strike does much for us. We're unlikely to kill things with it. We'll take the Poison Nova as much as I don't like it. It's on theme. Alright, so usual drill, basically. So this is one of the things the Aether Storm Plus is really good at, is that you notice we just immediately get to eat all of the evasion stacks on that Drake. Another thing you may have noticed there that worked in our favor is because we have that item that gives us 25% evasion, we were able to evade one of the Drake hits even though we weren't... actually, you saw our items to good use twice there. Once from getting the shield, so that we still had full shield because we got 2 shielded into the last turn. And we evaded one of those hits from the just base 25% evade chance that we get. Again, like this is where I was saying, like Noxious Blend. I mean, both. We may use the Bold Move here. We probably won't. Bold Move is another card where it's like, if it's not upgraded, like 1 powerful is very good, but 1 powerful is not. But like hidden is also very good at the point. Like if the choice is between having 1 powerful and being hidden at the end of the turn, I am often much happier with having the powerful. The other thing is, if having 1 powerful means I don't get either the crit chance at all or the guaranteed crits, depending on the situation we're in, off of the hidden attack, then I may not want a Bold Move. So like, Bold Move is a card that is very good, but has enough downsides with it that I don't always love it. So the poison was useful there, although like we have these Aether Storms we just didn't draw that do basically the same work. I think we want the Cornered Focus. So Cornered Focus is just better than Infected Focus. Like it is. This is always +1 for every enemy alive. This is only +1 for every enemy alive that is poisoned. So like Cornered Focus is just straight better than Infected Focus, which this is an Area 2 monster card, which means that it gets to be better. I'm just pointing out, like, that's part of the reason that I took, when these were both offered, even though we're in the poison deck, Cornered Focus is better. So, oh hey, we can actually do this. Fancy that. So we could be using this on this. So I think we're going to freeze because we do not have, we aren't hidden. So I can use this, which will just remove all of the evasion from the Drake, or I can use this to remove the evasion. We'll go ahead and do that. Oh, because that's right. In my head it was, so in my head the flash, because it only applies like the vulnerable and the ambushed if the enemy doesn't have any shield. And in my head it was if the enemy didn't have any shield or any evasion, but it's just the shield that it cares about. All right, so this is kind of the battle of the poisoners. Every time we deal damage to the poison gorgon, this goes off and we get poisoned. Every time that, which, slight downside, but especially when we're a multi-hit deck, but our item is going to do a lot of work for us here. Put one of those in our deck for the Noxious Fumes. Let's go ahead and use this since we don't have any other ways to use our hidden right now. We are slowly getting poisoned to death, but, minor problems. The question is, do we want to draw this Bold Move? I think so. I think this is actually a case where the Bold Move is worth playing, because we can now Noxious Blend, get that back, and then I think we Virulent Strike. So unfortunately, we are going to take a whole bunch of damage here. But we can also evade a whole bunch of things here, which is going to be worth, which means that we now get to start this turn with a whole bunch of random status effects, which is a nice bonus. And that's going to get us the kill. Largely thanks to the fact that we had lethal from evading those hits. Okay, so Poisonous Gaze is fine. It's fine. It's one of the better poison. It is, I think, the card that applies the most poison of any single card, not counting like cards that can increase but need like several times of increasing in order to do that. So Shifting Feather can be pretty good for Mirley because it can provide a safeguard on those first couple turns before you manage to pick up Hidden. And I don't think either of the other items are as valuable. The Purifying Shard is closer, but Area 2, well, so against the mid-boss, Purifying Shard potentially very useful. In Area 2, there's only one enemy that really applies status to you. Okay, I suppose there's two. There's the Shadowbone Protectors apply Arcane, and the Marsh Elementals apply Frost. But I don't think either of those are enough to justify over the Shifting Feather, especially because we can outright evade elements because we're Mirley. Assume we're either hidden. If we are hidden, we can only evade elements if we're hidden. Let's go. It doesn't matter. We're going this direction either way. So the question is, do we want to set up Noxious Blend? I think so. I was not paying attention. In my head, I still had 1 mana left for the Aether Storm. This is going to be applying Bleed. I think I don't really want to get bled. Alright, let's do that. I should have done that first to get the Mighty. We evaded the 2 hits that we had the evasion for, and then we just immediately got hit, even though we had the even though we have the 75% evade chance. Alright, so now we're going to bleed again, which is unfortunate, but let's bold move. Alright, then we do want to get some mana so that we can get some shield. Alright. I would love to have a poison gained, a damage from poison meter, so that I could track how much of what we've done here is from the poison. Okay, that's guaranteed kill. We will take it. I think we need more mana. We now have 2 cards that matter when they discard. This is going to be a freeze on us if we don't deal with it, and we don't have a way to get hidden, so we're just going to go ahead and freeze. Because that would have applied Frostbite, and then at the end of our turn we would have ended up frozen, which would have not been great. Okay, this is a lot better. We are definitely discarding this bold move. We don't even want to be tempted. We are totally fine with this because we're guaranteed to evade both of them. So I'm just going to Covert Strike into that. So this is one of the awkward things about Mind Probe, is that if you don't want to change the action, you have to just give up the damage. Which is a reasonable trade-off a lot of the time, I think. It's just that, like, because of our deck, so it's less because of the deck and more because just like I tend to be a very aggressive player, and so it irks me to not be able to be as aggressive as I would like. Let's toughen up. Do some Aether Storm damage. Apply some weak, apply some more poison. Yeah. Yeah, like, we're getting okay poison damage. Like, that was 19. That's fine. But, you know, compared to the, 40 or whatever that our Aether Storm did, it's not a huge deal. It doesn't feel like we're getting away with it, I think is what I'm saying. You know, even when we get these huge poison turns. And, like, we get the residual damage. So, the big thing with how poison works is because it decays by exactly half every time, unlike, say, Curse, where it's like every stack of Curse you add, like, that tends to work together pretty well. I mean, Curse still doesn't give you extra damage, but I suppose a better example is like Poison and Slay the Spire. So in Slay the Spire, your first poison card that you play does 6 damage, and then you lose 1 stack. Let's say that it was Poison 6. So you've got 2 cards that apply Poison 6. So you play the Poison 6 card, and then that's going to do... I'm too lazy to do all the math with 6, so we'll say 3. I'm changing my example repeatedly. So 3, it will do 3, and then 2, and then 1. So that's a total of 6 damage. If you play 2 that do 3 each time, then you're going to do 6, and then 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, which is going to be... give me a moment to do mental math, which is difficult. 11, 15, plus 6, so 21. So instead of doing 12 damage, which would be if you just doubled the 6 damage that the Poison 3 did, you will, over the course of those turns, do 21 damage. So you do 9 extra. So basically, you do not quite twice, but almost twice as much damage from applying poison 3 twice than you would from applying poison 3 twice and like waiting through all of it than you would have like applying poison 3, letting that decay, and then applying poison 3 and letting that decay. But because of how it works in this game, with it halving, if you apply poison 3, it's going to do 3 and then 1, and that's going to be 4. And if you apply poison 6, it's going to be 6 and then 3 and then 1, which is going to be 10. So you're doing, instead of doing substantially more, you're doing 10 versus 8, which is a small upgrade, but it's not anywhere near the level of extra value that you get from stacking it in Slay the Spire. The other part, of course, is because it diminishes so quickly, it's hard to even stack it to begin with. You know, if you don't play a bunch of cards, poison cards at once, you lose almost all of it almost immediately. So, yeah. Those are all things to think about. So these statuses do not skip. Oh, well, I can't play that anyway. Never mind. I was going to say, like, I'm totally fine with playing that. Okay. So I think this is the downside to having 2 siphon cards, is that you can't play both. Do that. Get some damage out. All right. So yeah. Okay, we I was gonna say we don't need a third Aether Storm, but like I don't like the other card. I don't like neither of these. Like this or damage all enemies. It's the Aether Storm, and this is one of the downsides to having. And this is not the card that we're here for. We were hoping for Elemental Strike. But so, like I said, because we don't have a full set of epic cards, we are sometimes going to be offered the commons and uncommons in the pool, which in this case means we have Deadly Injection versus Aether Storm, which, not a tough choice. Okay. I don't think any of these are particularly tempting. I think we are going to upgrade the other Aether Storm. We're just going to keep upgrading Aether Storms. I think the Pernicious Idol can go. I don't think I've been super impressed with it. It's just a little bit too awkward. It's either that or the Poison Nova, which does cost just so much mana. So this we have to draw twice to get the value. This one we have to... I don't think we need we have 3 Aether Storms. We don't need a Poison Nova. Okay, and we're going to go through Dragonfly, which is another Poison Elite. So these poor fools will not know what hit them. We can remove all the evasion from one of them so that it will die. And we can get hidden to really teach the error of its ways. So then the question is just, do we want to get a bit of damage in, or do we want to get the shield in case we don't evade? I think that I'm not going to trust my luck, so we'll see if that ended up being correct. All right, so we ended up taking exactly 2 hits. We would have taken 2 health if I hadn't decided to stay hidden. So, yeah. Now we get the kill. And I did 80 damage with 1 card. Oh, right, I do have a poison damage meter. We've done 300 damage with poison so far. Okay, I want more card draw. This is I want card draw at all. That's expensive card draw. Is it worth it? We have some discard, so that's some value. This is like a pretty low tier extra monster mana card. Like we don't have any particular value out of burn. We are on the damage over time plan, so like this is functionally similar to like if this played, it was like gain 2 mana, give poison 5 to all enemies. This would be better than that. So that's worth considering. Like this is some extra damage over time. But I think that this is just so mediocre card draw. And we just have so little extra mana. All right, let's see what we get here. Start by doing that. And the question is, do we want to hit this dork with a Mind Probe? And I don't think the answer is yes. I think we do want to hit that dork. Yeah. Yeah, one of the reasons that it's important to keep aggressively discarding cards here is, removing cards from the deck is because we are just, it is just so important to us that we are able to pick up, I'm not sure what debuffs are being applied here and I don't want them. It's so important to us to be able to pick up hidden as quickly as possible. Speaking of, I think we do this, and then we do that, into that, into that. I'm not sure on the sequencing there. I wanted to be hidden at the end, and then we had a bunch of things that like all wanted to be played first, which obviously you can't play every card in your hand first. That's not how that works. So leave that in the deck for. Right, so we now have 20 poison on us. But it doesn't matter because we won. Okay, so Noxious Focus is 4 mana basically. I still really want a Cleansing Shield, but Noxious Focus is a pretty good mana card because for us it will basically always be 4 mana. So Noxious Focus versus Infected Focus is an interesting thing because like if there's at least 2 enemies in the fight, if there are 3 or 4 enemies in the fight and they're all poisoned, Noxious Focus is weaker. But outside of that case, Noxious Focus is better, and especially in like one-on-one fights, like the boss fight we're getting in very soon. Okay, so Arcane Wand is an interesting question, and I think we want it. I think that although the strike is, this is technically more damage, I think the ability to proc Arcane explosions is going to be worth more to us in the long run. I also think it's time for the Mind Probe. Like, Mind Probe just feels kind of awkward, and it is relatively low damage. I think we'd rather be playing other damaging cards. And now that we have, 3 Aether Storm pluses, I don't think I value other stuff as much. So let's poison everything. And then let's do this, because this genius over here, what he was preparing to do is set up Plated 5, which is not okay with me. Plated 5 would have made it much harder for us to get these kills out. Oh, that's the other things. Like this is now trigger an Arcane Explosion. Now that's some card draw. And that's more Arcane Strikes. I like the Arcane Strike because that will work with our Aether Storms. So Arcane is particularly valuable to us here because it will let us deal with this. So I think I'm actually going to play this, even though it's going to just F us up on shocked. So we get to evade that hit, which is the reason I was willing to play the bold move. And then we can... This is going to be a real shocking turn of events. Anyway. So the shocked will not go until we actually get hit. Which means that we have to fail to evade for that to get removed. Okay, so that was actually kind of fine because that was only 1 hit. We are probably going to shock ourselves again several times throughout the course of this fight. Like we're about to do it again right now. But I'm not a coward. Alright. And now... Okay, we do not want that plate to get stacked. I'm also cool with doing this because we have Arcane Rune up. So... What do I discard? Oh, the Noxious Blend, because I don't think we can use that right now. So we're going to Toughen, we're going to Covert Strike, and then we're going to evade, like our lives depend on it, because they kind of do. Both of these are reasonable cards to play. This is going to now apply 8 poison, which again is still okay. Oh, we've got guaranteed crits. So I would have used this if we didn't already have guaranteed crits. But we do because we have critical. Because I didn't realize that this picks up powerful stacks when it hits that halfway point. It's important to know. Rip. Got hit. I obviously would have preferred not to have gotten hit. Now, though, we did need to do that in order to get that extra damage. Alright, let's see. Okay, we were able to evade both those hits, though, which is good. That would have really hurt if we hadn't. And now we have almost lethal damage in every direction. Well, okay, so we're going to have to dodge, which we did. And that is the sound of a phone, because my work phone is in this room, and it makes loud, annoying noises. We are not going to get another powerful. We don't need it. I don't have to answer my work phone. It's the entire office phone, and because we are currently out of office, it is whatever. So this has been a really awkward couple turns, and it's going to be even more awkward if we don't evade both of these hits here. Okay, we did, because then those were lifesteal hits. Like the fight was going to keep going. It just was not going to be a fun time. Okay, so the one with shadows and the dispel magic are both very tempting here. As much as I want the one with shadows, I think we have passed up too many cleansing shields. I think I really need at least one of those. And then now that we are past the drakes, I think I would rather have the purity than the sticky flask. Okay, so this is a really bad upgrade. The fact that Noxious Focus Plus, because sure it does get more poison as well, but the fact that it doesn't go to 6 mana is, and the 1 mana it gets is on the conditional side. That's a very bad upgrade. Like, this is obviously a much better upgrade for us because that's just straight up plus 2 mana, which is tempting. This is just reduces the cost. This makes this more expensive, but means that we get to increase that. This gives us another turn of Arcane Rune, which is potentially valuable. This draws 2 smoke bombs. How useful. The important part of this is that it upgrades to a Noxious Bomb Plus. Bold Move, giving us 2 powerful instead, is a pretty big upgrade. I may cut the Bold Move. I'm not sure. If I cut anything here, it is probably the Bold Move. Or the Noxious Blend. Again, like the Noxious Blend is just so awkward. I upgrade the Arc Rate. Because we have the Purity Trinket, because we have the Shield Trinket, I think I'm fine with not upgrading the Dispel Magic. And then I think we are going to cut the Noxious Blend. I think it has too high an instance rate of not doing things for us. Okay, so as far as elite fights go, I prefer to pass through this friendo, the 2 things whose names my brain is blanking on. Vessels of Corruption, because they can drop Corrupted Font, which is very good. However, we have 3 of the Swarm Pluses, which is going to tear through this Watcher of the Swarm. And this lets us fight 4 elites instead of only 2 if we go, because of there's no path between these 2. We would have to go this way. We would get to fight a Baelator hatchling, which is my preference always. But we would only get to fight 2 elites. We could fight that instead of the Shadowbone Elemental. I would probably go after the Stalker instead of the Elemental, because the Stalker can drop Cursed Focus, which is I think a lot better than the 2 Elemental cards. Especially because like the good Elemental card costs 8 mana, which this deck just can't afford. So if we go this way, we have a choice between fighting a Baelator Hatchling or fighting an extra Shadowbone Protector plus a one of these, plus the Royal Connoisseur, Regal Connoisseur. And the Regal Connoisseur can drop a card that I really like. The these 2 can drop a mana card that I really like that would work as another cleanse option. The Baelator Hatchling drops 2 cards that I really like, but I don't think I like it more than the chance here, which is admittedly, both of these are 50-50 shots at the card that I want. But we're going to risk it. What are we risking it for? Is it the proverbial biscuit? You decide. We are going to discard that. I'm just going to poison both enemies. Alright, I just was making sure that I hadn't done a dumb thing and just not used whatever it was. Okay, so we can do that and that. We can lose a hidden. And we can deal some damage. And still be hidden. Yeah, we are now at a pretty good place mana-wise. We need some card draw. So, generally speaking, when I'm trying to evaluate like how a fight is going, there are two metrics that I look at. One of them is, so your goal is you want to end the turn with no mana and no cards in hand, because that means that you used all available resources. That is not going to happen this fight. So normally I wouldn't want to lose hidden, but this is going to get us the kill. And then that's at least going to do something. And we can line up this freeze. So I'm totally fine in this case with losing the hidden there. Oh, I should have played the tough, and I was just beelined on getting that kill. We're not taking another one of those. I don't like any of these. I don't really want a second Pernicious Idol. The Noxious Blend we cut for a reason. I don't really like Tyrannic Blast, but we take it, I guess. Yeah, again, another one of those hands where it's like, what we really, really, really need is a... what we really need here is we just really need a way to get hidden, and we don't have it. So we're going to... Fortunately, I keep forgetting that we have that evade, or that extra shielded into turn, and it keeps saving us. I would love to know how much total health we have saved thanks to that at this point, because it is not a tiny number. We can do that first, and then that, because we're going to kill this, and we don't want to deal with that. I can freeze one of them. So we get 5 shield here, and we can technically evade, because we do still have that passive 25% chance. Instead, we just took a bunch of damage. We can... Preparations first. And then... we just hope we evade. Oh, right. Still, again, that shield... still doing good work for us. So, yeah, I think that the lesson that we have learned here is that Aether Storm Plus is a good card, and if you have 3 copies of it, it's very good. I think we just take the Tormented Strike here. This will trip more often than it doesn't. It will do 4x2, and then it'll do Poison 8. But this will do 6 Arcane instead of 4, which is nice. I don't think we're ever applying Curse with it, but... man, doing... The fact that it's 1 mana cheaper is the main reason. We'll try the Infected Strike and see what happens. So this is where we're hoping to get card draw. If this drops, the better of its 2 cards, basically. Alright. So now we get to evade. Those delicious, delicious evasions. And we are getting just still so much value out of these just random status buffs that we get from the fact that we have level 10 passive. This run goes a whole lot worse if we don't have that level 10 passive doing work for us. I was really hoping to find another... okay, there we go. I was looking for another way to get hidden because that would let us play this Aether Storm. I want to play this toughen, but I want to be hidden at the end of the turn. And I want to get out all this damage that we get to get out with that. So... let's see what we draw. Hey, the Storm Plus. We can play this and then be hidden again, which is better than playing the Poisonous Gaze. We can draw cards. All right. So we can actually play both. Let's go ahead and freeze. And go ahead and play this, because we can then immediately follow it up with a preparations. Sure. Boop. We're not going to play that. Alright, we're going to avoid one of these status effects. Unfortunately, the one we didn't avoid was the curse. And then we can get this, and then we just end the turn, take some damage. Alright. Let's do drawing cards. Aether Storm. Do that. Yeah, this is still the downside where it's like I don't want to play out stuff while I can get out. Took a bunch of damage there. And yeah, I definitely may have underestimated the number of hidden cards that I want here. Let's reroll. No luck. I was hoping to get the other card that drops from this. I don't think I want a Muck Tide. It's fine, but it's not amazing. I'll take the bide time. Finally get some card draw. Treasure created on kill will be good against the mid boss, but not good against the end boss. And I like all the other stuff we have, so I think I will pass for now. I say as though we will get another shot at it, which we will not, probably. So that we'll just take off the purity on this. Unfortunately, we don't get to get that kill, but all right. So worst case scenario here, this will remove one of our purity stacks, which, you know, obviously we'd prefer if it didn't, but yeah, we did not get that evasion. We didn't take up another Noxious Bomb, did we? No. Okay. Do we use this while we have that sitting around? Sure. I think I'm fine with freezing out of this, adding Taunt, because I think that because once I start setting up Taunt and Arcane Barrier, it's just very annoying to deal with. So if I can avoid dealing with it, those plated stacks, though, that's I wanted to get off that Dispel Magic so I could deal with those plated stacks, but the fact that it let us kill the front enemy was valuable enough that I decided that I would rather take that. Pop. And again, there's this choice where it's like we can either kill this front enemy, guaranteed, and then, well, but we're only taking 8 Arcane here, which is not going to be enough to, oh, we have to actually get the mana first. Play that, discarding that. If we get a powerful stack, we will probably just lose it to Arcane here. I don't know that I care enough to do that for that reason. So this will trigger Arcane on us, but it will also trigger at least one Arcane proc on this Jagoff, which will take away one of the plated stacks, which is nice. And then we can Covert Strike again to get hidden back. I think we do this again, as silly as this is. mean, like, we're still at the mercy of but we evaded that, which is what we were hoping for. And now we got rid of all of the arcane barrier stacks, which is very nice. Let's do that. I could have done a bit of damage here, but that gets rid of the last plated stack. Unfortunately, all the arcane barrier stacks are now back, so it's like we never did anything. So if we do this, we'll get in 1, 2. Trying to determine if playing this would get us to this arcane proc before, because once we get arcane proc, we lose our arcane rune. We can draw 2 cards, but I don't think any of them do anything for us. If we do this, we will do 1 hit, which takes to 11, 2 which takes to 13. So after 3 hits, we get, yes, we will not be able to get an arcane proc off. We can do 2 hits without, oh, that'll get an arcane proc though, which is nice. And then we can discard that, and I have to know what we get. Sure. We can do 2 more hits, but that would get us, that would lose our hidden. I don't want to do that. Hey, we had exactly enough shield that it didn't matter. Take that, dummy. So this is the one case where like poison is very good, is against the Shadowbone protectors, where it's like I don't want to hit them, but I do not want to get tagged with procs, with arcane procs, and they keep setting up arcane barrier. So we're gonna lose hidden, gain hidden. I have sequenced this wrong because we're gonna end out of hidden, but oh, we're gonna win, so it doesn't matter. All right, this is not the card that we were hoping for. And it's a lot worse for Mirley because if we dodge, then this won't trigger. This only trips if, barriers only trip if you actually get hit, although it will reduce the amount of status we take. It will give us a shield. The other thing is, like, I don't know that I want a second arcane strike or a poison dart. I suppose the second arcane strike isn't awful, and then I may just remove it immediately. Is there anything I like less than the arcane? I don't like the Tyrannic Blast. That can go. Alright, so we are currently 0 for 2 on picking up the card that we want. We didn't get the Muck from the Mire. We didn't get the... Or Dig Through Muck. Sorry, I keep calling it Muck from the Mire. It's called Dig Through Muck. We didn't get the Dig Through Muck. We didn't get the Clear Focus in the last fight. Hopefully we will get the Clear Focus in this fight. The Dispel Magic, unfortunately, is only going to remove one of these Purity stacks unless I burn this Cryogenic Flask, which is probably a terrible idea, but I want to get those plated stacks gone, so I'm doing it. Boop. So we can get hidden, and then we can get hits. We can get hidden. Oh, this means we don't get any shield, which means that we are in a worse position if we get if we don't evade this, which we did not. No. And unfortunately, we didn't have any poison up, so we just. We do get some extra draw from this these wit stacks, so that's something. So we are now in the awkward position of this of fighting this arcane barrier again. Is it worth? I think that gets us this kill here if we do it. So I'm going to go for it, even though it means that we take, yeah, that damage. Okay, it didn't get us this kill immediately. I should have used that before anyway. Because that is going to be, because I was hoping to avoid that curse, is why I was trying to get the kill. Okay. We can discard this, which will only give 4 poison. So it's a question whether or not we want to play the Arcane Strike, basically. So the advantage of playing the Arcane Strike is that it does get us closer to an Arcane proc. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that we get the double bonus because our strikes do extra, which is pretty nice. Yeah, that was definitely worth it then. So now, let me start with that, because I wanted to play this one while hidden. Alright. Yep. I'm not here to make the good choices. I never said I was. Oof. Okay. I guess we will do this, because that means that we don't take any damage at least. And there's both Shadow and Protector Stick. Give me a clear focus. God! Just no luck. I really... So we ran the 1 out of 8 chance of getting 0 of the 3 cards that we took this route to get. That's very disappointing. I still don't like the Infected Focus much, but it's mana, and I don't think we need the Careless Defense, so... I think this is more valuable than the 1 turn of Frozen. I really like having... I think Duplication Tome is the strongest thing in the game right now, so I can't just not have it. What did we cut? I do still think we still are not happy enough with the deck to not be cutting things. It may still be the Pernicious... Maybe the Pernicious Idol. Pernicious Idol hasn't been bad. If we can't discard it the first time we draw it, though, it's a lot more questionable. We don't have that many discard outlets. We might have enough mana that I want to cut an Infected Focus. I hate cutting mana, but I think that may be correct. Yeah, we'll do that. And here we go. Alright, so we do get Start Hidden, but we don't get to do anything with it. The one upside is that our Aether Storms will be very good at just letting us ignore these Jack Wagons. Let's set up temporary copies of those. Just because I like to burn through these. And then we get to evade this, which is nice. And then, question is, are we fine with losing Hidden? I think so. And then, just apply more poison, I guess. I don't know if that was enough damage to be worth doing over the Arcane Strike. But I'm not here to do math. Still have a Purity stack, so I'm fine with taking this one hit. To finish up a thought from a while ago, the other thing about Poison stack with Poison having is that, like I mentioned, how you got extra damage for doing the 2x3 or whatever, but the extra damage that you do get is basically just a rounding error. In that you only get extra damage because you cut by half each time. It's basically just if you hit an extra rounding breakpoint from adding the extra number, that's why you get extra mana. Alright, that's still doing good work for us. We are still able to just blow up all of them. These explosive ones are just being mean to us. Yeah, there's our powerful stack. Play that. Play that. I just want this powerful stack back. I'm willing to give up everything that matters to get it. We may need to upgrade the Bold Move Plus. I don't know if the powerful one is worth all of it putting into it. I kind of really want to try and dig for hidden. Yeah, the problem is that then, yeah, no, we need to get mana. I made some poor choices there. We didn't lose much health as we might have, but I absolutely should not have taken that risk. And now we are going to be we are going to once again lose our poison stack, or our powerful stack. So the other big thing with like poison is and this isn't necessarily a problem with poison, is just a thing that I personally don't love about it, is that in a lot of other games, like when you start applying poison, you're sort of setting yourself up for this inevitable victory eventually. Like, it may take you a while, but you'll get there, you know? And because of how poison works in this game, you don't get that inevitability. You know, you still have to struggle to get damage out, no matter how much poison you have. Because the poison goes away so quickly that, like, Curse is basically doing in this game what poison does in other games. Where when you apply Curse, if you have applied even one Curse, you theoretically have a win condition that you've activated. You know, it may take you the rest of forever. God, we just keep losing this powerful stack. We're never getting to 2 powerful stacks. It may take you until the end of time, but eventually, you will be able to win off of those curse stacks. But because poison decays so rapidly, you don't get that benefit. Like, you've seen me just like doing my absolute best here. You know, how many of these Dagovs have we killed? And here we are, still just taking forever to get through this fight. And the poison is just, I think this fight is the one that's really showcasing for me, like, the poison ain't getting it done. The poison ain't it, Chief. I should have gotten the shield. Oh. I probably can take more damage here. I think we're still going to get through this just because, like, if we did not have that 75% extra evasion, I do not think this would be a successful run in the making. I think that this run would have absolutely been a failure if we did not have that extra 25% evade item that early. I think that is the only reason we're still in this run. Yeah, not thrilled. And I don't think the other mid boss would have gone worse because we don't have the ways to deal with powerful that we need, or the ways to deal with curse on ourselves that we need. Admittedly, part of it is like we had just, as I bemoaned, the worst possible luck with whatever. So I do wish that I had the shield card now, but this will at least end the fight. It's gonna hurt us to do it, but it will end the fight. And I say it's gonna hurt us to do it because, like, we're gonna blow up these guys and we're gonna take much damage, but. Okay. Mystic Shadow Blast is expensive. I don't know if we're going to play it, but I will take it. And I passed up the Catalyst because, like, what is Catalyst going to do for us? You know, if our fights are taking forever, like, Catalyst only applies 6 poison, and, you know, the delayed poison, I was like, I don't like the poison's delayed, but proccing it twice doesn't make up for the fact that it doesn't. That doesn't do anything to increase our poison damage. Again, because we are going to burn through all our poison damage if the fight doesn't end quickly anyway. All these are pretty. We may as well take that. We do technically have a way to use whatever. I'm going to take the Dispel Magic Plus because we didn't get any luck on the clear focuses, and I really want that. The Virulent Strike may leave. I'm not impressed with it. The big thing is like Virulent Strike potentially burns a hidden stack. Like it burns up our extra hidden usage, and then it doesn't do any damage, which doesn't doesn't make me happy. The Pernicious Idol. No, we are at a point where our deck is large enough and we don't have enough discard outlets, and I think we got pretty lucky early on. Like for the first several fights, we were able to line up Pernicious Idol. But now that we can't, right, this I think will give us a bit of extra damage off of our Aether Storms, which are the only thing that we have going for us. So we cannot do everything I want to do here. So we're just going to do that. And we'll take the shield, which we may not end up needing, but yeah. Okay, so this will get us to 3 mana. Which is the thing, like, because I don't like the poison cards, I've been like not taking or I've been removing a lot of them. In a lot of cases, which means that the poison stuff has been harder to trip, which I can admit is probably part of it. To that end, I've probably not been entirely fair. Okay, so here's where my dilemma is. All right, I'm going to get at least one treasure off of these two, but because I will, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Duplication token that. So now I can do this into that. I'm not going to plan on playing any of these treasures, but this may actually just be going to be close to lethal. Okay, yeah, we just get close to lethal, but we don't actually get lethal. But then we get to be hidden at the end of the turn. And we hope we evade these hits. And we do. And that all worked out. I guess we take another Siphon card. I don't love it. We need more mana. I'm still so salty about missing both of those clear focuses. Never not salty. This is one of the cases where like Dispel Magic Plus can hurt you a little bit, where I want to remove this hidden stack here, but I don't want to spend that much mana to do it. Hey! Rolling the dice worked in our favor. Playing this doesn't do anything. Let's give all enemies weak, since we cannot evade. I mean, we get those 2 free evasions again, and we do get that 25% chance, but... Alright. Alright. Oh, we're not hidden, so it doesn't matter. This will get us this kill, thanks to that. Okay. We get some shield. So, wow, just all 4 of our ways to get hidden in the bottom half of our deck. So we could actually play the Mystic Shadow Blast. It costs us all of our mana to do, but it gives us 2 powerful. I don't think that's worth it. Because this gets us those shield stacks, and we aren't hidden, so we kind of need them. Yeah. Like, not that we're in super danger of dying or anything, but got still just endlessly tilted out. Bye. Yeah, because that is the other thing. Like, because all of our hidden cards were sitting together, we then didn't get whatever. So I need to get... I would take another hidden card if it was offered to me at this point, I think. Like, if we were offered a Vanish or a Preparations or a Covert Strike, I think I would take that. I can't remember if we were offered them and I passed them up like an arrogant fool, or if we just hadn't been offered them. But, I guess I will take the Cleansing Shield. We also didn't get offered at all the the Hunter's Focus, which is another mana card that I would have loved to have had. Can we get Mystic Shadow Blast off while still getting hidden? Yes. Right? Can we also play this? No, because that's going to do 3, and that would take us back to 3. No, okay, so we have to do, we're going to do this, discarding that. Pop. And now, value. You're now suitably hidden. Okay. Definitely some of the mana issues are because, like I said, this is not my deck, and so I was not able to put in all of the mana that I would have normally, and so severing a bit from that. It's all working out in the end. I do want to toughen, but I would rather take advantage of this Arcane Rune while we have it. I'm not going to play the Covert Strike because I would rather, I think, get our shield back. Well, now let's get a little bit more Arcane out. And then, I should have played, I wasn't thinking that Spell Magic deals with both those stacks of plated. We don't have any debuffs, so we'll just take the 10. Whoop. Guess we just end the turn. Alright, we ended up evading all those hits, so I didn't have to, so I could have done that, but of course I didn't know at the time that we were actually going to evade. Hey, Lamau. Racking up some damage. Dark Focus. So this is interesting. Do we have enough ways to do, so I think we take this just because I think this is more likely. I don't want to lose. The Arcane one has been doing good work, although Arcane is less valuable in the final fight. But I don't know that we will be able to line up enough strike hits. So I think we'll take this. I know that I said the Duplication Tome was amazing, and we just haven't found anything to do with it, but it happens. Let's do this on. Hey, we got the hit, and we knew we were going to get the other part, but we get some free evasions, and then hey, we got 2 free evasions out of 4 hits. That's not bad. To apply some free curse. Pop. The reason I started with the Dispel Magic is just because I didn't want to deal with potentially having all my hits evaded. I mean, this was a turn I could have used this to good effect if I had been thinking. All right. We get to end hidden, and we get to dodge this curse stack because we are still pure. Yeah, those purity stacks have done some good work for us, I would say. So one of the notes on how things stack is powerful stacks after Mighty. So this plus 30% from Mighty doesn't apply to powerful, but the 2 times damage from that we get from critting, and it is normally 50% crit, but because we're Mirley, it's 2x. That does apply to the powerful. So this 8 goes, I believe, goes to 16, not to the 14 it would if it didn't count the powerful, like the Mighty doesn't. Let's do that. And then we will end our turn so we can stay hidden. And the reason I didn't double that Aether Storm there was because we didn't have a way to get hidden again, but now we do. So I'm not sure that we needed that, but like I can't play anything else. So we won't kill with one of them. All right, more mana. So taking additional maximum mana here makes it harder to trigger that item, but it also means that we start with more mana, which seems valuable. I think having the 2 Arcane Strikers has worked out fine for us. I don't think we need 3 Siphon cards. I think that's just a little too tricky to make work. What else do we not like? I don't think we need the bold move now that we've got the Mystic Shadow Blast. I'll take some more mana. I basically always take more mana when I can, just because I really like having extra mana to work with, even when it's not necessarily the most useful thing. So one of the nice things about Envenom is that it does strip Arcane very quickly. So, if Zabu, if you're actually watching this and you are still watching at this point, I do apologize for the fact that I suppose there's also a chance that you haven't watched the whole thing, but you skipped ahead to see how the end goes. In any case, I apologize for the fact that this has very much become a... So really, neither dodge there. We're just going to eat all the damage. Okay. This has very much not been a poison run. This has very much been an Aether Storm Plus run that happens to include a couple poison cards. All right, come on, let's evade one of these. Okay, we evaded both. Thank you. Okay, so we are in the awkward position of... So the big problem here is that if we lose hidden, we know we're not getting hidden back next turn. So that's why I'm not going to play these, is like, because if we play them, we don't get hidden back. Although, I don't want to take all that damage. Okay. Yeah, and again, like, we get the 22 into, like, the big thing that, like, Poison is doing for Mirley, obviously, is because of the hidden thing, like, because, like, playing this doesn't drop our hidden, you know, that's obviously a relevant interaction for Mirley, but I just don't think that makes up for the fact that, that in order to get it, so there was our 1,000 damage total for the run from Poison, so, you know. It did that much for us, at least. But I don't know. It's fine, I guess. It's just not crazy. And I know, like, that not everything has to be crazy, but yeah, let's get some damage out. I know this means we're taking from that, but this still lets us. I had been paying attention to how much damage I was getting output. Maybe I would have just copied that. Okay, we should get the kill here if we have any mana and then any way to use it. That is not really a great way to use it. That doesn't. None of this get us the kill. This is awkward. Oh, that's actually going to get us there. That and then okay, so that gets us the kill. Okay, so that was a complete run. We did it. We won. We didn't even use our Phoenix Feather, which we had the whole time. But like the main thing we learned is that Aether Storm Plus is good, which did that tell us anything? I don't know. we did, like I said, we did get the 1k poison damage total over the course of the run, so I can't say poison did absolute nothing. But it also, I don't think this changed my opinion. Part of it is like, and I know that like I am, part of this is that I don't pay that much attention to where my damage is coming from at end of turn. So like all the damage that goes to monsters at end of turn, I tend to just sort of not give the value I should. But like, when you compare how much damage on Mirley that we get out of like any card that can critical, like let's take the Envenom for example. Let's say that instead of Envenom we have Backstab, and like Backstab does 20 damage when it crits, which getting Mirley again to that 100% crit chance is very easy. You saw that like we got 100% crit chance pretty often. So like Envenom does 2x2, does 4, and then like, are you really getting enough value from your Envenom that you're making up for the fact that Backstab just does 20 up front and upgrades to doing 40 up front? Like, I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, that was the run. We will see if poison gets buffed or not. You know, yeah. Heavy sigh. That's the point of the run, is heavy sigh.